The stock market can be volatile. The reasoning behind the fluctuation in the stock market can be quite complicated. Often stock prices are affected by a number of factors, some directly, others inversely. In his article, Wolski highlights a quote by Peter Lynch, who is a stock market guru, when he says, "An important point to remember when investing is that there is a company behind every stock and a reason why companies and their stocks perform the way they do." This quote explains why there is reasoning behind every fluctuation in the stock market and in stock prices. Some events that will affect the stock of a company include internal development within companies, impacts of world events, inflation and interest, impact of exchange rates, and financial reports. Internal developments within companies include things like mergers, development of a new innovative product, etc. An example of the impacts of world events on the stock market is September 11th, also known as 9/11. When the World Trade Center was attacked, the stock market went crazy due to these events. Another thing, inflation and interest rates involve the government regulating the interest rates of the Federal Reserves to counteract the inflation of the dollar. The exchange rate affects the cost of a business to produce products which will change their stock's price. Financial reports are public reports that explain the financial status of a company and how they've improved or worsened over the past year. The information in the report can be both positive and negative on the stock's price.
How do we invest in the stock market? There are many ways to invest in the stock market, depending on how people want to invest. They can take an active or passive role in managing their money. According to NerdWallet, the people who want a hands-on role should open a brokerage account, while those who want a more passive role should open a robo-advisor account. A brokerage account is most likely the cheapest and fastest way to buy stocks. With this kind of account, an individual retirement account, an IRA, or a taxable brokerage account could be opened. With a robo-advisor account, you gain the benefit of not having to do the bulk of the work while still investing in stocks. The advisor will ask a few questions and basically do all the work for you, and it's much cheaper than a human doing your investment managing. The next step for a brokerage account would be telling your broker how many stocks and what type of stocks you would like to buy. After picking the stocks you would like to buy, you can either open a market order or a limit order. A market order is when you request a stock at the current prevailing price. A limit order is when you buy stock at a limited price. If this method doesn't work for you, there are other ways to invest, like buying stocks directly from the company yourself. Finally, let's look at some people who have done well for themselves, buying and investing using the stock market. Warren Buffett is regarded as one of, if not the best investor in the world. Buffett has made over $50 billion in his lifetime, and he started with investments. The way he invested was buying companies for cheap, changing the company for the better, and seeing improvements in the stock prices. Another investor, Peter Lynch, who managed a company for over 13 years, was able to turn $20 million into $14 billion. His advice was, know what you know. It's futile to predict the economy and interest rates. You have plenty of time to identify and recognize exceptional companies. Avoid long shots. Good management is very important. Buy good business. Be flexible and humble. And learn from your mistakes. Before you make a purchase, you should be able to explain what you are buying. And there's always something to worry about. Do you know what it is?
People sometimes can be skeptical and worry about investing in the stock market. They feel like it's not safe to invest because you could lose money. But there's actually some helpful advice that can ease your worrying. Instead of contemplating when you should start to invest in something, think instead on how long you are planning to keep your money in the market. Different investments that involve risk require different time frames. Stocks overall can be safe, Large stocks have returned an average of 10.4% per year from 1926 to 2003. Once you decided to buy, the next step is to decide when to sell. Investing is not easy, even if you think you know when the market will rise or when the market will fall. But if a company is hit with some economic woes and it starts to blunder, you should consider selling some stocks. Many investors are quick to withdraw their money if the stocks start to decline and then go to invest in another company. But there are academic studies that prove that people who move from one investment to another tend to do worse than those who stay put through the good and bad times. The best warning signs that indicate if you should sell is if the business fundamentals change or when the stock becomes overvalued. Here are some other tips that help you invest. 1. When a stock goes on sale. Christmas and Black Friday are examples when prices go down. When this happens, investors tend to avoid stocks whose prices are low. In 2008 and 2009, investors could have picked up stocks at beaten prices. The period of time after a crash has historically been great for investors. 2. When it hits your buy price. Establishing a range in which you can purchase a stock is reasonable. 3. When you have done your research. This means that relying on analysis price targets is a good starting point. This could be from reading a company's annual report or from reading its most recent news releases. Being patient and holding stocks is very key in success. It could take time for a stock to rise to its trade value. It can take a couple of years for a stock to hit its price target range.